Intro. The depth behind attraction. In every age, men have asked the same burning question. What truly moves a woman's heart? Is it power, charm, wealth, or something much deeper, something unseen yet profoundly felt? Cornel West once said, "Never forget that justice is what love looks like in public." But love, my brothers, is not just a matter of justice. It is a battlefield between fear and desire, between pride and vulnerability. Today, we're going to uncover 9 female weaknesses that men must know, not to manipulate, not to play games, but to understand the emotional code that lies beneath every connection. Because real power is not domination. Real power is comprehension, the ability to see what others overlook, and to move through the world with calm strength. Stoicism teaches us that control over others is temporary, but mastery over yourself is eternal. And so, as Cornel West would put it, we're not here to impress women. We're here to become men of integrity, men who evoke respect simply by existing. So take a deep breath, let the noise of the world fade, and listen closely, because what I'm about to share isn't just about attraction, it's about wisdom. It's about understanding the soul behind the mask. Part 1. Emotional awareness, the unspoken weakness. Every woman, no matter how strong, how confident, or how independent, carries within her a hidden longing. The longing to be understood without words. Cornel West often spoke about deep listening, the art of being fully present with another's soul. He said, "You can't love people if you don't hear them." And that, my friend, is the first weakness, emotional awareness. Women are not drawn to men who talk the loudest, flex the hardest, or chase the fastest. They are drawn to the man who notices, the one who listens between the lines, the one who feels the shift in tone, the subtle sigh, the unspoken pain she hides behind a smile. This is not sensitivity in the weak sense. It's perception sharpened by experience. A Stoic man is not cold. He's observant. He doesn't react emotionally, and he reads emotion. He knows that silence can be louder than words, and stillness can carry more power than speech. When you develop this awareness, something incredible happens. Women begin to feel safe around you, not because you promise safety, but because your presence embodies it. You're not trying to fix her emotions, you're anchoring them. You become the calm in her storm, the grounded energy she instinctively gravitates toward. So remember, emotional awareness is not about being soft. It's about being still enough to understand the movement of another heart. As Cornel West would say, tenderness is what love looks like in private. That tenderness is not weakness. It's wisdom in action. And in a world obsessed with superficial strength, that kind of depth is irresistible. Part 2. Mystery, the magnetic force. Now let's talk about the second weakness, mystery. Every woman, consciously or not, is drawn to mystery. Not because she wants confusion, but because she craves curiosity. She wants to wonder about you, to sense that there's more beneath the surface than what you reveal. Cornel West once said, "We are finite beings trying to face infinite realities." And that's what mystery is, the awareness that no person can ever be fully understood at first glance. The Stoic man doesn't expose everything. He reveals only what's necessary. Mystery doesn't mean being distant or cold. It means being complete in yourself. When you stop oversharing, stop seeking validation, and start living with quiet conviction, you naturally create space for curiosity. You become the man who doesn't chase attention. Attention gravitates toward you. In psychology, they call it the information gap. People are drawn to what they can't quite figure out. In philosophy, it's the paradox of presence. When a man knows who he is, others want to know more. Women find that fascinating because it awakens their imagination. It gives them something to explore, to decode, to feel. You become not just a man, but a journey. And here's the truth most men miss. If you give away all your mystery at once, you rob her of the adventure. But if you carry yourself with quiet depth, if your words hint at wisdom and your actions show discipline, you become unforgettable. Cornel West teaches that our lives are a quest for meaning amid chaos. When a woman senses that you live with purpose, that your silence carries thought, that your eyes hide stories, she doesn't just see you, she feels you. And that feeling is what keeps her coming back. So cultivate mystery, not as a tactic but as a byproduct of living with purpose. Let your actions speak, let your confidence whisper, and let your depth remain half hidden. Because true masculinity doesn't need to explain itself, and it simply exists. Part 3. Emotional strength, the quiet shield. The third weakness, my brother, is one that every woman senses before a word is even spoken. Emotional strength. Cornel West often says, you can't lead the people if you don't love the people, and you can't save the people if you don't serve the people. But beneath that love lies discipline, the ability to hold your ground when storms come, to stay steady when everything around you shakes. Women are not drawn to the man who never feels. They are drawn to the man who feels deeply, yet remains centered. A man who doesn't crumble under pressure, who doesn't lash out in anger, who doesn't drown in self-pity when life gets hard. Emotional strength doesn't mean the absence of pain. It means carrying pain with grace. It's the art of suffering without surrendering to bitterness. It's the quiet confidence that whispers, I've been through worse and I'm still here. That strength becomes magnetic. Because when a woman senses that your peace cannot be stolen, she feels safe enough to be herself. Her defenses fall. Her guard softens. She begins to trust that you can handle her chaos without judgment, without fear. A Stoic man doesn't chase comfort. He endures growth. He doesn't run from emotion. He masters response. Cornel West would say, real courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that something else is more important than fear. That's emotional strength, and not loud, not flashy, but quiet and undeniable. And remember this truth. A man who controls his emotions doesn't need to control anyone else. He commands respect not because he demands it, but because he embodies it. And that, my friend, is a weakness every woman feels in her bones. The pull toward a man whose heart is steady and unshakable. Part 4. Purpose. The flame that guides you. Now we reach the fourth weakness. Purpose. No matter how beautiful a man's words are, no matter how charming his smile is, without purpose he drifts. And a man who drifts cannot inspire. Cornel West reminds us. You can't find meaning if you're addicted to comfort. Purpose is the flame that burns inside you, the reason you wake up, the mission that gives your life weight. It doesn't have to be grand or glamorous. It could be as simple as building yourself, mastering your craft, serving others, or protecting what you love. But when a woman meets a man with purpose, something in her awakens. She senses direction. She feels the fire. It tells her, this man knows where he's going, and that certainty is rare enough to be irresistible. The Stoic man lives by principle, not impulse. He doesn't waste his time chasing fleeting pleasures or validation. He walks his path with patience, discipline, and a quiet pride that speaks louder than words. Cornel West says, to live is to wrestle with despair, yet never allow despair to have the last word. That's what purpose gives you, a reason to wrestle, to rise again, to keep building even when the world doubts you. When you have purpose, you don't beg for respect and you earn it through action. You don't seek validation. Your journey itself validates you, and women feel that energy instantly. They see a man who is anchored, a man who doesn't get lost in the crowd because he knows who he is and what he's called to do. That's why purpose is such a powerful weakness. Because women are drawn to men who stand for something, not just stand around. So find your purpose and let it shape your presence. Because no charm, no trick, no tactic will ever replace the magnetic pull of a man who's become what he was meant to be. Part 5. Authenticity, the unbreakable truth. And now, the fifth weakness, authenticity. In a world built on filters, masks, and performances, authenticity has become rare, and therefore priceless. Cornel West says, "To be human is to be fallible, yet to love is to tell the truth about yourself." You see, most men think women want perfection, but perfection is an illusion, and illusion kills connection. Women crave truth, not just honesty in words, but authenticity in energy. They want to feel that who you are in private is who you are in public. Authenticity doesn't mean sharing every flaw. It means owning them. It means saying, "This is who I am. I've been broken, I've been lost, I've failed, but I'm still here, still growing." That vulnerability, when rooted in strength, becomes irresistible. A Stoic man doesn't hide behind a mask to impress. He removes the mask to express. He's not trying to be liked. He's trying to be real. And that's exactly what draws people. Not the image, but the integrity. Cornel West teaches that courage is the expression of love through truth. So when you live truthfully, when your words, actions, and energy align, you become rare. You become the kind of man a woman can trust, not because you never fail, but because you never fake. And here's the paradox. The more you try to impress, the less impact you have. But the more you live in truth, the more the world leans toward you. Authenticity is the quiet revolution of modern masculinity. It's saying no to imitation, no to performance, and yes to your own essence. It's walking into a room without needing attention, because your presence already holds it. Women don't fall for perfect men. They fall for real men. Men who walk in truth. Men who are unafraid to be seen as they are. That is the fifth weakness, the irresistible gravity of authenticity. Part 6 meant patience, the silent power of presence. The sixth weakness, my brother, is one that most men overlook. In Patience, Cornel West once said, "You can't have hope without patience, because hope is not optimism. It's courage mixed with endurance." And that's the kind of energy women feel deep down. The energy of a man who does not rush the process, who does not force outcomes, who understands that everything beautiful unfolds in its own time. In a world of instant gratification, patience is rebellion. Everyone is rushing to be loved, to be seen, to be validated. But the Stoic man knows, anything gained too quickly is rarely worth keeping. When you are patient, you communicate one thing above all: self-control. You're not desperate for attention. You're not shaken by rejection. You're not in competition with anyone else. You move like time itself, steady, deliberate, unstoppable. Women feel that rhythm. They sense when a man is centered enough to wait, not because he's weak, but because he's wise. Patience is not passive. It's powerful restraint. It says, "I trust my path. I don't chase what's not meant for me. I let what's real reveal itself." Cornel West calls this the practice of soulfulness, the art of being fully alive in every moment without grasping for control. And that's the beauty of patience. It gives others room to breathe, to be, to become. When you practice patience, you show emotional maturity. You show faith in yourself and in the natural timing of life. And that calm confidence creates gravity. Women are drawn to the man who doesn't rush because he radiates security. So remember, the impatient man seeks results. The patient man builds foundations. And every woman knows, it's the second kind of man who can be trusted to lead, to love, To last. Part 7. Confidence without arrogance, the quiet crown. Now we come to the 7th weakness, confidence without arrogance. Confidence is often misunderstood. Too many men confuse loudness with power, aggression with authority, ego with respect. But Cornel West reminds us that greatness is not found in dominance but in humility rooted in self-knowledge. True confidence is quiet. It doesn't shout, it shines. It's the calm awareness of who you are without needing to prove it. It's the way you walk, the way you listen, the way you breathe, completely at ease in your own skin. Women can feel the difference instantly. Arrogance says, "Look at me." Confidence says, "I see you." The arrogant man demands admiration. The confident man commands it naturally, through consistency, integrity, and presence. And here's the paradox. The more you try to convince others you're confident, the more insecure you appear. But when your actions, tone, and stillness reflect genuine self-belief, people, especially women, lean toward you like plants toward sunlight. Cornel West often speaks of spiritual nobility, the quiet dignity that comes from knowing your worth without needing comparison. That is the essence of true confidence. It's not about being better than others. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. It's not about dominance, it's about direction. It's not about shouting, it's about standing. And when you live from that place, everything changes. Women sense your inner authority, not the authority that controls, but the authority that centers. That's the difference between noise and presence. So walk with humility, but never shrink yourself. Carry your confidence like a crown, invisible but undeniable. Because when a man stands tall without needing applause, the world quietly gives him one anyway. Ending. The wisdom of understanding. And now, my brother, as we reach the end of this journey through the 9 female weaknesses every man must know, remember this. This is not a game of manipulation. It's a path to understanding. Cornel West teaches that love is not a sentiment. It's a steadfast commitment to the well-being of another. That's what this is about. Knowing these weaknesses isn't about control. It's about compassion. It's about seeing beyond the surface, understanding the heart, and moving through the world with grace and power in equal measure. Because the truth is, the greatest weakness of all is not in women, but in men who refuse to understand them. When you learn to see her not as a puzzle to solve, but as a mirror of your own soul, everything changes. A real man doesn't seek to dominate. He seeks to comprehend. He doesn't chase attention. He commands presence. He doesn't react to emotion. He masters his response. That's what Stoicism and Cornel West's philosophy teach us. That power without wisdom is empty, and love without understanding is blind. So be the kind of man who listens. Be the kind of man who leads. Be the kind of man who carries silence like armor and tenderness like fire, because that balance, strength with compassion, purpose with patience, mystery with authenticity, is what makes a man unforgettable. Women may be drawn to your looks, your charm, your confidence, but they stay for your depth. They stay for your calm. They stay for the man who stands tall in chaos, who speaks truth in silence, and who loves without losing himself. As Cornel West would say, never forget, greatness is measured not by how much you shine, but by how deeply you love. So go out there, live with discipline, move with grace, speak with purpose, and let your presence be your philosophy. Because when a man becomes peace, even the storm bows before him.